A very good morning. You're watching World Talks, where every word matters. I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. With the world's biggest economy and strongest army suddenly a less reliable friend to lean on, Europe needs to step up its game and find ways of becoming more self-reliant. The European Union will have a pragmatic attitude towards the new administration of Donald Trump, but always stand ready to defend its strategic interests against any unjustified measure. Ursula von der Leyen said on Tuesday in a speech that set the tone for how Brussels intends to engage with Washington in the next 4 years. Joining me now to discuss the latest developments is Magdalena Góra from the Institute for European Studies at the Jagiellonian University. A very good morning. Thank you for joining me on the program.
Good morning.
So, President Trump's inauguration speech signaled a strong stance on Trump's sort of U.S., I would say, centrism, some say egoism. How do you think his tone and his first decrees will impact the EU-U.S. relations moving forward?
I think we've heard in President Trump's inauguration speech what a lot of experts and I think broader public expected from him, a very strong focus on American interests and on domestic politics. I don't think there was any mentioning of Europe, of allies. There was no invited guests from the European Union. There was only one European leader, Giorgia Meloni, present at the inauguration. So this is not the best sign for the smooth start of cooperation. On the other hand, I think we also had some promising signals from Washington, for instance, concerning energy. I mean, we can be concerned how Trump's administration is going to approach the sort of intensive use of fossil fuels. But the promise behind that for Europeans is access to affordable energy from the US. So I think the message is mixed. Most of the attention of leaders is at the moment to sense what kind of presidency is going to be there when it comes to transatlantic relations. And it's only time will show, where this is gonna go. What I think is that we can expect for sure is downplaying the EU leadership and EU institutions from Washington. This is something what we saw during the last Trump administration. So I think the national leaders in the EU need to be prepared at the moment to take a lead in those relations. And of course, that's not going to be easy. As I said, the only one invited was Giorgia Meloni. So there is a lot of eyes on her and how she's going to support the European community in having as good relations with our strategic ally.
So throughout the last 2 days of the World Economic Forum, we've heard from the President of the European Commission, and I quote, "A lot is at stake for both sides." What would you say is at stake for the EU and the US mutually, looking from both perspectives?
Well, I think we can clearly sense that there is a similarity in assessing the roughness of the international relations, the activities and policies of adversaries, and all eyes are on China, all eyes are on Russia. And in that sense, even though we may disagree over transatlantic relations, how to approach those adversaries, I think there is this is really at stake. And I think that was something that we could possibly sense from putting those two speeches, the von der Leyen in Davos and the inauguration speech by Donald Trump together, that there is some still understanding there, and also the signals from fairly critical comments of Donald Trump in his first hours concerning Russia is also something that I guess Europeans received with at least a bit of a relief. What von der Leyen stressed in her speech, well, that's the Davos Forum at the audience, right? It was focused on competitiveness and on economic cooperation, including the access to energy. And I think, this is also one of the first very important speeches of her new position, right? She just recently really formed her cabinet, so it's really a matter of weeks or months that the new commission is speeding up. We all expected that January will be the month when this will start. So I think von der Leyen was trying also to give a very positive message for the European economy. She was referring to these diagnostics that were fed in last year when it comes to the competitiveness of a single market. She was referring to Draghi report and promising a new opening in that sense. She promised that very soon we're going to have a competitiveness compass announced by the European institutions. The entire group of commissioners that are working together on bringing this positive impulse for economy. I think my understanding is that what von der Leyen was trying to convey was that there is the economic interest on both sides of Atlantic, and with Donald Trump, you can speak that language, and the more vibrant European economy be, the better the position for that dialogue.
Well, obviously, there is a lot of discussion, and we've heard from the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, and she said we need to avoid a global race to the bottom. How do you think she's going to try and achieve that, considering that there is some sort of more of an isolationist policy when it comes to the new administration of Donald Trump?
Well, as much as we all rely on mutual understandings and underlying values that the transatlantic community share, there is no really, clear instruments at the heads of Ursula von der Leyen, the European leaders, to prevent the American president to go very isolationist, right, or American centrist, if he wishes to push. And I think the signs are that he is going that direction. So, it seems to me that, one of the promises that we've heard from Donald Trump is that he is focusing his policies on invigorating American economy. That's his vision. And von der Leyen was, I think, saying you can do that better with us rather than fighting us, even in terms of trade. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yet we've heard from Donald Trump on Tuesday, who said at the White House that he's actually considering to hit the European Union with tariffs because, in his opinion, Europe treated the U.S. unfairly, and he's going to somewhat pay them back in kind. So how would you comment on that? How do you think they're going to approach that? And what kind of tariffs are we to expect? Because on Monday, everyone was hopeful when we listened about Canada and other countries possibly being hit by tariffs, but not the EU. And now we're hearing something new to add to the equation.
Well, I think it's only time will show where this attention will go. I think this is also something that many people were discussing and expected. So I'm hoping that the European Union leadership and the national leaders are prepared to discuss this. And judging by the last administration, most of those disputes were, despite the radical language that was assisting them, will eventually negotiated. So again, being a not born optimist, I'd rather hope to see that this is going to be just a tough start of negotiations in many sectors. What we've heard certainly is the issue of access of the agriculture produce. there is an issue of access to the American market of luxury goods. So I think there is, there is a possibility to expect discussions there. But on the other hand, Donald Trump seems to want to sell energy to Europeans. So there is a space for sure for negotiation. So I don't think we can say now where this gonna go in detail.
And how do you think that the EU is going to react to Trump pulling his country out of the Paris Climate Accords? I mean, this to sort of quote, drill, baby, drill, to use his words. What is going to be the reaction, and how do we move forward from here?
Well, I think he already issued an executive order,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, that he is withdrawing from Paris Accords. And again, it's a repeat, right? We saw that already in his first term.
Were we prepared for it? We've seen it before, but were we prepared this time?
Well, I don't think you can really prepare for this kind of move. The American administration at the moment is not interested in maintaining some of the unilateral kind of self-constraining measures as they see it. So the only thing Europeans can do is, again, to go their way. And I think, again, this is something that we've heard from Ursula von der Leyen, who stressed on several occasions in her speech the references to the clean energy, as well as the kind of cross-cutting issue of environment protection and climate change prevention measures in European economic policies. So this is, this is a discussion that we need to have in the European Union, and at least what we see now from the Europeans' plans to invigorate or push for kind of incentives to for economic growth in Europe. They are still concerned with the climate goals in them. So this is, I think, what can we do? Otherwise, it's cooperating on sectoral policies and any other thing that can be done, bilaterally. But if Donald Trump administration wants to withdraw from Paris Agreement, this is what they do.
That's their decision to make. Last but not least, Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk will set out the key goals of Warsaw's presidency of the Council of the European Union at the European Parliament on Wednesday morning. So we're very much looking forward to that. What can we expect?
Well, this is a very standard procedure that the leader of a country taking presidency travels to Strasbourg, travels to meet the MEPs and discuss the presidency priorities. I think the mood in Brussels and in the EU is very welcoming for Polish presidency. I think there is also a very the priorities under the theme of Security Europe. The Polish presidency priorities are gonna ring the bell with many, many actors and stakeholders in the European Union. So I expect rather a warm welcome for the priorities. There's of course gonna be a heated debate. There is several issues that one can debate around several issues. I'm expecting some questioning over the security of borders, particularly from the leftist MEPs. There's gonna be discussion on how to make sure that the Polish priorities are gonna be fulfilling, but it seems to me this is really the occasion for Prime Minister Donald Tusk to sell even better the priorities and showcase the energy that stands behind Polish presidency. So I'm not expecting here any significant political drama,
But we will be definitely monitoring the situation. Magdalena Góra from the Institute for European Studies, Jagiellonian University. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you very much.
And so this would be all for now here on World Talks, but please do stay tuned as we're back in just a moment with more news and features.